Money, power, control. For centuries, the global financial system has remained in the hands of a few, dictating how we earn, how we spend, and how we move wealth. But what if that system could be rewritten? What if there was a way to transact instantly without fees, without middlemen, without any borders? Today, we're diving into technology that could change everything. Our guest is Alex Guseff, the visionary CEO and founder of CRISPmind, the company behind Tectum, one of the fastest blockchains in existence, and SoftNote, a payment solution that dares to challenge the status quo. But this isn't just another crypto project. SoftNote isn't a token, it is a stablecoin. It's something that is entirely different. Is this the missing piece that bridges crypto with the real world? Is this the future of money? I guess we will find out that shortly. Alex, absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. Thank you for coming.
Mina, thanks for having me here. My absolute pleasure.
We're very happy to have you. And
thanks.
I have to ask you, how's Dubai treating you so far? You're doing okay?
Beautiful. Best time of the year. Plus 24. And
we love it.
Windows open.
Yes.
Balcony open.
Yes, we love it. So tell me, Alex, share your story behind CRISPmind. What inspired you to develop this entire project?
Super fast blockchain. We realized at some point in time, me and my team have realized that we are participating in a rat race. Mm-hmm. We were sitting one night, it was end of 2021, and news came out. Some team in San Diego, I believe, announced 50 million transactions per second. And we realized that we're 50 times behind.
Right.
And at that point, Bitcoin network allowed super cheap transactions where you could enter your own commission. And Bitcoin, being a true a representative of a Web3 and a decentralized space, is not able, according to its own constitution, which is not really called constitution, but it's an internal policy, cannot and will never reject a transaction.
Right.
It must accept a transaction. Did you know that until 2016, you could submit zero-fee transactions in the Bitcoin network?
Really?
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah, you would have to wait a week, but it went through eventually.
Now it's immediate though, right?
No, Bitcoin will never be immediate because it takes 10 minutes to close the block.
All right.
But in terms of acceptance of an actual transaction, you're absolutely right. The acceptance is immediate because it's being registered in a database which is called memory pool. Mm-hmm. And in 2021, and we're sitting with my team and trying to develop a super cheap Bitcoin transactional system which would help us to introduce a super cheap crypto transactions to the world. And by super cheap, I mean 10 cents commission.
Which is nothing compared to the
nothing compared to $10.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about 10-minute wait, but we're talking about 10-cent commission, right? And we are looking at this whole opportunity, and it looks real delicious to us as a team from Europe, right? And we're thinking like, well, we're going to change the world. Well, no way. It didn't happen. Suddenly, Bitcoin network got cluttered and flooded with a wave of transactions, and they literally put a limit and put a stop on those so-called dust fees. So those 10, 15 cent transactions stopped going through properly. In one time, we had to wait 26 days for Bitcoin transactions to close, for one Bitcoin transaction to close.
That's too much.
Ironically, it was a payroll money. Yeah, well, it's true. I'm telling you the true story of the SoftNote invention. And then on top of it, to add injury to a failure, we have this news from some new unknown team from Southern California. It could have been San Diego, I believe, who announced 50 million transactions per second. Now just imagine the mood and imagine the spirit of the team who spent like last 8 years, right. 6 to 8 years by then, by 21 it was like 6.5, 7 years, working on the fastest blockchain in the world. Okay, we finally resolved this Bitcoin bottleneck, and we are ready to hit the market with new Tectum wallet, where super cheap Bitcoin transactions and everything. And suddenly we get hit by two terminal shots. Bitcoin network slows down this processing of super cheap transactions because miners need to make more and more money. And on the other hand, some team announces 50 million transactions per second, which is 50 times faster than us.
I wanted to ask you, it was 50 times faster, right, than you?
50, yeah, 50. Well,
did you guys get demotivated in that moment completely?
We got so demotivated. It's impossible to describe it in the realm of our current success of a SoftNote. I'm not going to spend too much time on that topic. These guys with 50 million transactions turned out to be fake. So,
all right.
There was no 50 million
fake
transactions
news.
Per second. It was it was absolute fake news. And then Bitcoin network later normalized. It slowed down, and those dust fees, those 10, 15 cent fees, became less predictable and more sporadic. So you still had a chance to get stuck with your transaction for 2 weeks, which is unacceptable. But still, you get, the main thing is you get processed, right? And everything worked out to our favor, but as a result, SoftNote was born. Because we realized that we cannot, we realized that we are refusing to participate in this rat race. It's not about who is faster and who is cheaper. It's about the real true solution.
Exactly. The unique
real solution. Are we gonna be able to allow people to accept starting but not ending, not ending with Bitcoin, because it became bigger than Bitcoin very fast. Are we going to be able to provide a full throttle, wholesome, flawless, frictionless solution for crypto payments? Or we are not.
Right.
And this is what it boiled down to. And at that moment, I sat down and I have this guy. He's been coding since 1973. His name is Dmitry. Just imagine, 1973. I was born in 71. I was 2 years old when he started coding. I believe it was BASIC and Pascal back then. Now he's a super expert at Delphi. And I asked him, I said, Dmitry, what should we do? What are we doing?
Right.
You cannot win. No matter what you do, there's going to be another guy who just got more money invested in marketing in the entire world is listening to him now, not to me, about 50 million transactions, which he will never be able to perform. And what are we doing? And he says, what do you think we should do? And I said, hey, what would it take to write a program which would create mint Bitcoin wallets by millions? He says, well, not much. And I said, I remember my next question. I said, how long is it going to take for this program to create 1 million Bitcoin wallets? And you know what he said?
A few seconds.
He said, seconds. I said, well, why don't we just do that instead of keep killing ourselves in that rat race?
You had a light bulb moment.
I had a light bulb moment. It was like literal explosion in my hand. And I said, dude, can we make every one of those Bitcoin wallets an individual web page? He's like, what a big deal.
Incredible.
And that's how SoftNote was born. And now we're looking at this, and it's just one of the form factors. This is a web page. That's all you do. You scan.
I have one framed in my room that you gave me
why did you spend it? I'll give you another one.
It's a memory.
And then you have this passcode, which can be used only once.
Right.
Because if you accept payment from me.
And I write that code and I'll get a new code, right?
You get a new code because if I know your code, then
you can spend my money.
I can spend your money. It's a Web3 space. Right. Sorry. There is no trust, right? We're talking about trustless space, so there should not be no trust required.
But at this point now, looking back, did you understand what you were getting yourself into?
No.
Absolutely not, right?
Absolutely not. I knew it's going to become something big, which is actually To be honest, it's about to become, because we just signed off couple major partnerships, and by major I mean major for us. But we're talking about big old families with good vision. But back then, no, I did not realize this is going to become that very solution which is
We're
truly
craving.
capable to marry fiat and crypto. SoftNote can carry dirhams and dollars.
Right.
It's just a transport of value.
Right.
It's neutral.
Borderless, commissionless.
Exactly. It doesn't pretend to be anything else.
Right. Tell me now, differences between soft nodization and then we have tokenization. How do they differ, and what makes SoftNote that game changer?
Beautiful question. Tokenization is when paper assets become digital assets.
Okay.
SoftNoteization is when digital assets become paper assets again. It actually, on the surface, looks like a reverse evolution, but in reality, it is not.
It's a development.
It's a development. And it is a development for a simple reason. We have 650 million people actively using crypto after 2008, 2025. 25 minus 8, how much?
17, 18.
17 years.
17.
Don't you think any technology, any feasible and self-sustained technology should be getting a grasp on this civilization by then? But something is not working right. Something is not happening. Something is missing. Yeah, something is missing, and we've been given lots of thoughts to it. Easiest is to blame central banks.
Yeah, we always point fingers at them.
Exactly. Then next easy thing to blame is Bitcoin is slow and expensive. But these
or misinformed.
Yeah, these all, at this point, these topics, they run out of steam,
They become boring.
It becomes boring, Yeah, Bitcoin is slow. Well, no, use Tron, use Solana. Solana is fast and cheap. Why Solana is not mass adopting?
Something is off.
Where is the catch?
Yeah.
We're convinced that there are two primary reasons why crypto is not mass adopting. First, form factor. We have 8 billion people on this earth who are genetically, I'm not a doctor, but hypothetically, I use the word genetically as an entrepreneur, meaning that it's embedded in my brain. We are used to deal with account-based system.
We're programmed.
We programmed ourselves from a very early age. My mom would give me $10. Say, go buy yourself ice cream.
Yeah.
It's a paper money. I go and I get myself a change. You see, this form factor is really genetically embedded in us.
Psychologically, we have a physical asset in our hand.
A classic, traditional banking system just celebrated 850 years. Well, they're doing something right to survive 850 years.
For sure.
We can blame them all we want, but 850 years is a score.
100%.
And we believe that in order for crypto to mass adopt, we've got to adopt at least some properties of paper money. You cannot
take that away from humans.
You got to walk before you run. You've got to crawl before you walk. You cannot just throw at a 60-year-old lady who sells tacos downtown Mexico City
and explain crypto to her.
Walk up to her, approach her with a MetaMask wallet, and say, "Hey, lady, can I buy 2 tacos for Bitcoin?" She's gonna say, "What is Bitcoin?" And even if she knows what Bitcoin is, she will say, "How? And what am I gonna do with it later?"
Yeah.
And now you looking at the lady She's got this pouch bag which stack of cash.
Yeah.
You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
And she's 60, and as soon as she closes her booth, and as soon as she stops selling her tacos, 8 o'clock at night, what does she do? She takes
counts the
that
money.
cash, she takes it home, she gives it to her nephew, her son, and says, okay, go buy me some flour, go buy me some olive oil, you go buy me some beef, because I'm a very small entrepreneur, I just want to survive. And these people are the majority in the earth. Not everybody is a crypto pro Bitcoin maxi. Most of us just want to spend the money and receive the money. We're not traders. We're not professional traders. We're not brokers. We're not service providers. We're not wholesalers. We're not producers. And I believe we must give to the main mass of world's population this capability to correlate, to draw the line between cash
Right.
and crypto.
Right.
There is no connection. There is no integration done so far.
Right. But with this, you still need to have a certain application, phone, internet,
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
it's already out. We have SoftNote wallet out, fully functional. You can download it from our Apple Store and from Google Store both. It's all fully functional. Obviously, you're absolutely correct. Slowly but surely, these people who will expected to accept these papers, sooner or later they will collect a bunch of them, and they can say, well, okay, what am I going to do now? I have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin.
Right.
Let me go and get some beef so I could cook it for my customers next week, right? And they're gonna download the app, and they're going to realize that it's very simple to import this into your SoftNote wallet, and it becomes crypto. So everything is being thought through by our team and by our analytics and our economists. As everything has been thought through, though I must admit that it's in progress. It's a masterpiece in progress. So there are going to be changes. There are going to be some new developments, new announcements, changes in directions, and mostly these changes are going to be dedicated to the mass user, to the adoption, to the mass adoption. And actually, Mina, I would say that the name of the game in 2025 is mass adoption, because everything is out and working. It's all going to be about mass adoption. It's my personal opinion.
Right. And talking about adoption, what industries do you see benefiting the most from the SoftNote?
Financial services.
All right.
Today we can do what Ripple does, but faster and cheaper and more transparent.
There you go.
We're already doing it. It's a matter of API and adapting those bridges to the actual consumer of our services, which we expect to be operators like banks, because banks will have to adapt or die.
Right. But from what I understood, you're basically going to have the consumers, which are going to own the SoftNotes, but at the same time, you need to make deals with hospitality, restaurants, retail, shops, to make sure that they accept this as a valued currency, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is going to split into two levels, tiers, which is part of the same system, but the upper tier is going to be commercial user, like bank, chain restaurant. You're absolutely right. Logistical centers. Just imagine huge logistical center, and I'm a delivery truck. I'm coming in and just saying, guys, I have SoftNotes.
They should accept it.
Yeah, they should be able to accept it.
Yeah.
For there should be no problem for logistical center to cash in on a SoftNote, Bitcoin or TRX or USDT SoftNote should be no problem, really. And the second tier is the actual end user, is the actual restaurant, coffee shop, the same taco lady. But it's all connected to the same backbone SoftNote system, which is designed to instantly and flawlessly, seamlessly process SoftNote payments.
Perfect. I suppose you have a certain plan in mind as to what kind of countries, stores, restaurants you're aiming at the moment. Do you so far have certain deals and partnerships that you've made with brands? And I suppose first you need to do it with the brands and then you go to the customers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a major partnership here in Emirates. It's a prominent family. They're visionary family, and we have already signed a couple preliminary agreements,
Great.
which actually indicate and fasten down intentions on both sides. We're still talking. We are still talking Middle East, and we're going Southeastern Asia. We've been communicating, but the ice broke. Then we invited to El Salvador. El Salvador is reactivated intensely. It's been things have been moving in El Salvador. They want to start producing crypto phones. They're getting rid of their Shibo wallet. Yeah, they're selling it. It did not work out. Well, I told them a year and a half ago that's not going to work out because Lightning Network is built on legacy technology of Bitcoin. I'm not saying Bitcoin technology is bad. I am as far from it as possible. It can be. You will not be able to find probably another Bitcoin fanatic like me. There is no blockchain-based payment system which would be able so flawlessly process transactions. 100%, 120% surety that you will not be able to cheat the system, you will not be able to double transact and send Bitcoin from a wallet of zero balance. But Bitcoin needs a adoption level, mass adoption level. And Lightning Network, I'm not here to criticize Lightning Network. I'm just saying that in order to fix the flaws of one technology, you need to use faster or better technology, but you cannot try to solve problem of legacy technology using legacy technology.
Right.
That's what Lightning Network is. Lightning Network it's a fork of Bitcoin. It's the same technology.
They're the same thing, yeah.
It's the same thing. It's actually, I believe, a definition of insanity. I heard it somewhere, trying to expect different results by doing the same thing. And we knew it's going to happen like this, but now it's finally happening. They're getting rid of that Shiba wallet. They will need different solution. They really will. They're considering multiple scenarios, which I am not allowed, not in liberty to discuss for a simple reason. I don't have any,
of course,
any agreements signed with them. I have not even met them yet. We've been talking over the ocean.
But you would say you were in the right place in the right time with them.
2025 would be if there was a year, maybe 5-10 years from now, if I look back and say, well, which year was decisive? First, I thought that was 2024 because that's where our token was launched. That's where when we finished our paper SoftNote model. But now I'm thinking it should be 2025 because now the product is out, everything is ready, everything's just waiting.
The base is there.
Mass adoption.
But tell me one thing. I'm looking at it now from a consumer's perspective. Governments can print unlimited amounts of cash. This obviously leads to inflation. Everybody knows this. How now you've implemented SoftNote and you're saying that SoftNote can fix this. Some in this moment may argue that decentralization, it can create instability. So how can to normal human beings such as, me, you're into it, but let's say an average human, how can a trustless system be better than a government-backed currency? How are you going to prove to them that this is their way out?
Very good question. Well, actually, 4 questions.
Yeah.
I will answer one at a time. Well, first of all, governments cannot endlessly print money. There is an organization which is called International Monetary Fund, IMF, which determines the net value of every country. And as we all know, we grow, we evolve. More holes are being dug in the ground, more people are being born, and every person born into that country becomes an asset for that country. So every year, every country is being re-evaluated. And normally, that value goes up because population goes up, because more holes are being dug in the ground, more oil, diamonds, gold is being found, discovered, more cars are being made. So technically, governments cannot print more money without justifying it by their overall total net worth growth. Though we do know that money is being printed and money is depreciating. I just saw a very interesting video this morning where a gentleman said that 40 ounce, it's actually the biggest bullion of gold, in 1971 was sold by $14,000. Today it's $1 million.
Oh my God.
Well, 2025 minus 1971 minus compound interest, divide 1 million by 14,000. That's the true loss of buying power of American dollar. Now, think of it like this. Paradigmically, paradigm-wise, American dollar behaves towards other fiat currencies
Yes.
the same way Bitcoin behaves towards altcoins.
Okay.
Meaning, when Donald Trump makes an announcement about raising the index rate, Bitcoin loses 2% of its value, market value.
This is a fact, yeah.
This is a fact. Well, guess what? My token loses 15%.
Really?
Why? Does my token deliver less utility than Bitcoin? No.
So how come it happens?
It's a Bitcoin-centric world. Web3 space is a Bitcoin-centric world. The same as a conventional money market, a dollar-centric world. So when dollar loses its value 10% in 1 year, then Nigerian naira will lose its value 30%.
Right.
You see, there is a similarity in
I see
behavior
it.
patterns between fiat worlds and crypto worlds. Crypto worlds are actually, it's gonna sound funny.
Function in a similar way.
But they're replicating, they're adopting the way fiat money, conventional money world functions. Crypto is adapting.
Apart from the fact that one's decentralized, one's centralized, that's the only difference at the end of the day.
Yeah. So saying that central banks are at fault is a good way to refocus attention on our problems by blaming somebody else. But we are at Tectum, we are convinced that a real true problem is not in big guys. We are barking at the wrong tree. I believe that we are barking at the wrong tree. I believe the true problem lies in double commission phenomena. In order for me, businessman in Emirates, to buy coffee from you, Brazilian farmer, I have to pay you in reals because that's what your money is. It is illegal for you to pay your staff, your
in
farmers, in dirhams. It is actually, in fact, illegal to pay in dollars. Some countries with failing economies, they might temporarily allow that, but capital circumvention policy will never go away. As a government, I must protect my government. I must protect my country. I must protect my people. I will not allow another currency to command and dominate in one country. It will always be illegal. So, having said that, me as a coffee shop owner, I have to do what? First of all, I cannot buy you reals.
You need a middleman to pay the commission to.
I have to have a so-called a medium of exchange.
Yeah.
In our civilization, it's American dollar. What does it mean to you and to me? To me, it means that I will pay commission twice. First, I will pay commission to buy American dollar. Then I will pay commission to sell American dollar for your reals.
And you end up paying 10% more.
And then I will pay commission to the bank to transport your reals into your pocket, because I'm in Emirates and you're in Brazil. Just imagine how many commissions.
It's an amazing system they've created.
They've created an amazing system. We call it a casino effect. Casino effect is an axiom which basically says like this: if you're in my casino and you have $100 and my play fee is 1%, it's gonna take you 100 moves to go broke.
Interesting.
Exactly 100 moves. You might get lucky a couple times. Okay, it will take you 120 moves today.
Right.
But tomorrow it will take you 80.
Right.
Math doesn't negotiate. You cannot negotiate with math. 2 plus 2 will always be 4.
Statistics, yeah.
2 plus 2 will always be 4. And in our human world, when we build businesses and we look for synergies, and when I hire you, 2 plus 2 should be 8. Mm-hmm. But it's a human divine laws of synergy. Mm-hmm. But math is not like that. It's 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. And when I pay this double commission, your coffee, which you actually would love to sell me for $1 a pound, ends up in my store for $10 a pound.
Right.
You see?
With the SoftNote, that commission doesn't exist.
SoftNote does not have medium of exchange. It's the only system.
It's peer-to-peer, right?
It's peer-to-peer, yeah. It's a peer-to-peer. You exchange my, let's say, it's a dirham SoftNote. That's what we're actually working on right now. We're working on dirham. And then,
so far, I just have the dollar one.
Yeah. And then you have your reals. You log in and I log in. And I purchase 100 reals, and you purchase, or somebody purchases 100 or 10, whatever the proportion is. I don't know the rate, dirham against real, but I do know that dirham is more expensive than real.
Right.
So somebody purchases my dirhams and sells reals to you, or you purchase it directly from me, and there is no middleman.
Right.
It's done in a true peer-to-peer mode. That's the way it always should have been.
But let's say 10 years from now, eventually everything has to get centralized in some sort of way.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think cannot say that I'm convinced in that. Mm-hmm. And by no means I'm a prophet. But what I do see from studying history and studying our financial system and banking sector, banking industry is becoming more and more adaptable. It's becoming more and more flexible. Look at open banking.
They need to fight the big fintech boys, and I feel like they're digitalizing in an extremely fast manner in order to keep up, because they're realizing they have competition.
Centralization served only one god, American dollar.
Right.
As soon as dollar gets diluted as a medium of exchange, right now,
do you think that will happen?
Chinese, it's already happened. the entire Southeastern Asia is trading through Chinese yuan.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese yuan replaced, officially have been in the process of being of replacing American dollar in money markets, in Southeastern Asian money markets.
What do you think needs to happen for us to feel the effect of this here? Because so far all the big global, let's say, corporations are still attached to the dollar. Therefore, a person
I don't believe they are.
Not anymore.
I don't believe they are. They weren't. It was a forced thing. Bretton Woods agreement replaced
Right.
British pound with American dollar. Then instantly, clever guys on Wall Street realized that if they run everything through centralized system, they can force everybody to swap their currencies through dollar. That means they get paid every time. And as soon as American government realized that these clever guys are willing and ready to pay taxes of those double fee revenues, they agreed to the scheme.
Do you see a certain crash happening soon? Or will it be very subtle?
I don't know. I don't know. What I do know that we have more and more smart and entrepreneurial style, very good dynamic people, visionary people like Elon Musk getting their hands on worldwide opportunities, and smaller dynamic guys like me will probably start receiving better chances to mass adopt their products. So going back to the subject of centralization and decentralization, I don't see where centralization would really receive another major chance to take the world over. And I also believe that in this bipolar, if I can say that, world of dollar slowly losing dominance.
And even bipolar, it's multipolar at this point.
No, it's multipolar. Exactly. And then and when SoftNote kicks in, it's gonna get really chaotic for a few years, right? Because then you don't need any medium of exchange, and suddenly you see this trillions and billions of dollar equivalent capital going across the border, though it's transparent because it's blockchain based, right? But it's borderless. But it's borderless and it's not controllable by anybody. Big guys will start thinking what to do with it, and solutions like indicting people are kind of losing.
Boring.
Yeah, they're becoming like, well, okay, how many people they're gonna have to put in jail to get things their way? I think they're
losing control slowly.
I think vision slowly starts taking over.
Right.
Vision starts taking over, and I believe that those centralized and decentralized systems, they will find a compromise. It will be it should be an elegant solution. You see, to my opinion, this solution will boil down to a simple compromise: anonymity versus transparency. This system, the new system, will have to be transparent, but yet provide some portion of anonymity. You see, Bitcoin was positioned as a absolutely anonymous system. Now we know it's not, because funds changing Bitcoin wallet eventually are going to have to find their way out into somebody's bank account or cash. That's where you get caught. That's where you lose anonymity. SoftNote is actually, in that respect, by far more anonymous than Bitcoin, because by paying you $100, I'm not actually sending funds from wallet A to wallet B. I'm just handing over to you the ownership from wallet A. How are you going to trace that one?
Right.
Wallet doesn't change. So somebody looks in Explorer, and now you and me already moved
have a different code.
$100, and you passed it to him, he passed it to her, then she bought ice cream, then somebody bought a pair of jeans.
That's already 5 codes generated.
And what do they got? And they look in Explorer, and it's still 100 USDT wallet. What are they gonna do? Block it? And then what? So the solution will be definitely elegant. It will take lots of vision. It will take lots of patience. But you see, I'm an optimist. I believe in positive solutions. I believe that in this world, in this world, vision and discipline, and persistence will always win over some rigid things like regulations.
Right.
They will adapt or die.
Right. Speaking about your purpose in this life, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
Legacy.
What would you like to be remembered for?
Legacy.
Yeah.
Because nobody will remember me 100 years from now.
All right.
Everything is accelerating, and if things go as ChatGPT recently predicted, 50 years from now, nobody will remember anything. Everything will be run by artificial intelligence. Could be, potentially. And this scenario is gaining momentum. But if I wanted my children, my grandchildren to talk about me, I would want them to remember me as a person who always wanted to change things for the better. I'm an optimizer. It's in my genes.
Right.
It's in my DNA. When I look at this table, first thing I see is its inefficiencies. I want to try to make it better.
Right.
But just some people, when they're made like this, we're probably not the happiest people because we're always trying to change things around.
Right. Imperfections and everything.
I'm incapable to just sit in a chair.
Right.
First thing when I sit in this chair, first thing I ask myself, why am I bowing? I'm not talking about this chair. This chair is actually very good, comfortable.
Thank you.
I'm being hypothetical.
I've tried my best.
I'm being hypothetical about how
engineer
mind works.
I get what you mean.
There is actually a joke about this. The optimist says that the glasses half full. Pessimist says that glasses half empty. You know what engineer says? Glasses twice as big as it needs to be.
Good one. Good one. Now we're slowly running out of time, but to finish this podcast with you today, what would you say? Softenization or tokenization?
I would rather say softnotization helping tokenization. Tokenization is when regular assets like money, stock, bonds, annuities, insurances, futures, they go digital. Media, painting, you wrote a song,
right?
It becomes digital. It can be tokenized. Example, NFT.
Yeah,
everything is gonna get tokenized, as CEO of Larry Fint, CEO of BlackRock, recently said. It shocked the world. It shocked me when he said that. He said everything will be tokenized in the next few years. And then I started thinking, okay, it's gonna get tokenized, and what good is it gonna do to the taco lady in Mexico City? She still wants to see paper. And that's when we realized as a team, that tokenization is an absolutely necessary step in digitizing assets. We have 650 million people who actively using crypto. We have a couple billion people who are actively using banks. We have a certain number of people who are co-using banks through their relatives, gift cards, and any other kind of additional supplementary tools banking system came up with to help underbanked, right? But these are crutches. they're not solving the problem. They're
treating the consequence.
Yeah, they're treating the consequence. That's why we call it crutches. In IT, we call it crutch.
Okay.
Crutch is a temporary
It's
solution.
helping you.
It's a temporary solution to permanent problem. And we looked at this whole situation of tokenization. It's gonna take few years. He's absolutely divinely correct. Maybe it's gonna take 5 or several years, probably less. But how do you take it to the street? How do you take it to the street? And then we look back at the wall, and there's a wall, and there's a SoftNote, and below SoftNote is written, taking crypto to the streets. And that's how softnotization term was born. It was born literally a few weeks ago. Softnotization, we believe, is what digital assets will desperately need in order to mass adopt.
Right. And I like that slogan, taking crypto to the streets. Sounds cool.
Actually, one of our partners told me recently, he said, it's not crypto we're taking to the streets, Alex. It's ETFs we're taking to the streets. Taking ETFs to the streets.
Were you going to change that now?
No.
No. You're keeping it as it is. Alex, thank you so much for today. Honestly, absolute pleasure. I do have one audience question that I would like to ask you, because I believe all the other ones that were asked, you've replied already. You've given them the answers in the podcast, so make sure, guys, that you listen to the podcast. One that's potentially a little bit different came through from Robert. He's asking you, do you see SoftNote as a competitor to Visa and MasterCard, or do you envision it working alongside traditional payment methods?
Very good question. Challenging and provocative. It doesn't really matter how I see it. Life will put things into, everything will fall into place. Visa and MasterCard model has worked really hard to take money to the street in an alternative way other than cash. They have laid the path for more down-to-earth and simple systems like SoftNote to function like a Visa card. If it wasn't for Visa and MasterCard, we would have never come up with this form factor.
Right.
We would have nothing to push against. So replacing Visa or going along with it, life will show. The mass user will show. They will reflect. They will show us. They will tell us what they want.
Right.
But on the surface, if you ask me, if you put a Visa card, which I have to go to the bank, order by mail, or take a SoftNote, which I can print on my printer.
Really?
Yeah. Or download the app and pay for the same taco with contactless payment, because that's what SoftNote does. We have contactless payment, and you don't need bank terminal payment, EPOS, payment point of sale terminal. With SoftNote, you don't need point of sale terminal. Your smartphone becomes an electronic point of sale.
But you do have the history of what you bought with that specific code, right?
Yeah.
You do have proof of where you used the money.
Yeah, you can do the same function is available in SoftNote wallet.
Right. All right, Alex, absolute pleasure speaking to you today. Honestly, I feel like we can have another 2 hours speaking and explaining everything. So I'm looking forward to many more conversations with you. I wish you the best of luck and hope to see you again very soon.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank
you for hosting me today.
For taking crypto to the streets.
Taking crypto to the streets.
System without fees, a currency without borders, a future without financial friction. Is this truly where we're headed? Or is the world still too attached to the old ways? Alex, we've explored everything from SoftNote's unique advantages to its potential to reshape how we think about money. And the big question is still here. What happens next? What is the next milestone that could turn SoftNote into a household name? And we'll see where that goes. But for now, thank you, Alex, for sharing your vision with us. And to everyone watching, remember, keep innovating, keep evolving, and keep reshaping the future. With you was Mina Vucic. Stay tuned to Paradigm.